Today we are here at the Vivid Racing HQ because we are going to test a cold air intake on my Ford Raptor to see, does a cold air intake actually work when it is hot as hell outside? It's 114 degrees here in Arizona, so we figured it's a perfect time to test an intake. So we got the truck strapped down on the dyno, and we're going to baseline it to see what the horsepower is stock, install the intake, and then we'll run it again with it installed to see how much power we actually gain. And we'll check the temperatures before and after to see, does an intake truly help with temperatures this crazy? This is the AFE GT Momentum intake. This intake is designed for the Gen 3 Raptor and F-150. So it fits all those trucks that have the 3.5 liter EcoBoost twin turbo engine. And the Momentum GT features the dry air filter, so you don't have to oil it and worry about it gunking up any type of sensors. The entire intake is all rotomold plastic, meaning it's not going to retain heat as much as the aluminum boxes. So overall, this is one of the best intakes on the market and extremely affordable for these trucks. Let's open it up and check out the parts. One of the features of the AFE intake is it features this 9-inch cylindrical air filter, and this thing flows 40% more than the factory intake system. So you should be guaranteed to see an improvement of airflow, but again, does that help with these temperatures? This is the main box here. You can see it's got a clear lid so you can see the filter, and it features a full duct so it gets the air directly from where the factory box would, so you don't have to worry about where that air is going. And the whole thing is sealed, so it is a true sealed box cold air intake. We got couplers. This is the intake pipe. You can see it pulls it in from both turbochargers, splits it inside the plastic tube there. Real nice beefy piece. And finally, we got our hardware, clamps, screws that we need to finally get this whole thing installed. Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna do the first baseline run. So we're gonna do 3 runs total, see what we get, and we'll go ahead and compare those and check out the temperatures before we put the new intake in. All right, we're in the truck to do our baseline test before the intake. Just started the truck cold, and you can see we've got air charge temperatures, 129 degrees Fahrenheit, and that will go up tremendously once we start moving. So let's get this thing calibrated, and then once we do a dyno run, we'll watch these gauges. So we've got our baseline dyno finished, and this is the run that we're going to talk about. Now, let me tell you this first, is this truck does have our VR-Tune tuning box on there. So we're going to keep that variable consistent and see what the intake does on top of that. So our numbers might read a little higher than a stock truck. So we've got peak torque just knocking at the door of 695 pound-feet. And horsepower, we see a peak horsepower right about 4,000 RPMs at about 475, and that is to the rear wheels. It's hot, as we showed you, 114 degrees. We got our little temperature thing in here. This will show us it's roughly 105 degrees here in the dyno room. So now we've got our baseline, we can install the intake and test it directly in comparison to this baseline. See how much power we pick up, check out the temperature, check out the air intake temperature on the computer, and overall, does this intake still make power when it's hot in Arizona? Obviously, we got to get the stock intake box out. So we're going to do that real quick, and then we can dive into the details of getting the new AFE intake installed. Let's get at it. Got the whole stock box removed, plastic, not great flowing flat panel filter. So it's time to throw this thing out, get this new one on. More airflow, more power. So what's cool about this whole rotomold, it splits the two designs, or splits the two intakes. So as the airflow comes from here, it keeps it separated on both sides. with that massive air filter. It's going to really change not only the sound, you're going to be able to hear this engine more, but it's really going to get so much more airflow in to give it more power. And again, this is a dry air filter. So unlike an oiled one, you don't have to oil it. You don't have to maintain it like you do an oil filter. It's not going to get a bunch of gunk on the sensor because it's oiled. So they're dry filter design. Oil filters are great if you're doing constant off-roading to help collect that dirt more. But for a main street truck, travel truck, dry filter is the way to go. You can see it's got 360-degree flow coming in from the front, all the sides, everything. Again, this thing is 40% more efficient than the stock airbox. Got the box going in. It's pretty easy. Got the main section. All you got to do is bolt it right up in place from where you took it out. It's got a rubber grommet on the back, and then you got to pop in 2 clips to hold the front snorkel in. So the intake's not bad to install. It's an OEM fit and finish. So we should get this wrapped up here in just a couple minutes. So with the filter in there, it's totally sealed the way they designed this rubber gasket. So really there's no opening. So it is a true cold air intake with the air coming from the front. This is a complete seal, and there's nothing else over here. If you wanted to take the filter out to clean it, pop off this, pull it out. Real simple. Oh my God, just for the clampers.
Oh, where are you going?
I don't want to do this anymore. This is stupid. Redo it. Bruh.
Okay, fine. I guess I'll do it. Do your job for me, Dan. Oh. I am not very good at this.
Okay, we are cooked.
Wow, Grace, it seems like you really took over my job. Got this intake in. I'm so excited for you. Guess I could.
If anything's wrong with it, it's not my fault.
Fine, it's under warranty. But this new intake looks killer.
It looks so good.
So now the intake is all in. Chef's kiss. Got it all installed, and it is time now to do the rest of the dyno run. So we got the intake in, let's start it up. We'll do a couple revs for you guys just so you can hear what it sounds like, because you're going to be able to hear these turbos a lot more. A lot of the whoosh and the wheesh sounds, and then we'll dyno it. So let's rev this thing up a bit. So here we are, got the intake fully installed. Now we're going to do our after dyno. We're going to do 3 tests as always. That way we can make sure the car adjusts. And obviously we have a little difference in heat soak, so we'll make sure we get 3 solid runs. And we'll compare them to the baseline. We'll also measure that air charge temperature on here to see, hey, are we making power? And what does the temperature show on the dash? Are we getting cooler temps with the intake? Let's find out. Well, it's still 114 out, and we just finished the after runs with the intake. And this test was all about, does it make a difference when it's this hot? So we got some good before, we got some good afters. Let's see what the results are. So our solid line is with the intake, and our dotted is with its stock. You can spin this a couple different ways, but at the end of the day, is it so hot? And even though we replicated airflow with those fans on the intercooler and the intake, it's just really, really difficult to make any power in these type of temperatures. But what it does show is at the top end where the turbos are trying to suck as much air as possible, because the AFE filter is 40% larger, creating much more volume, pulling much more volume of air into the intake. You can see that it actually does make a difference on the top end from 5,000 to 6,000 RPMs. We're actually making horsepower. So the filter does have a huge difference over stock. Now, if we did the same test when it's 70 degrees out in October or November, you're going to see gains across the whole RPM range. But again, the test was, can you actually make a difference when it's this hot? Hope you guys enjoyed our little test here of the AFE intake on the dyno in the Raptor here. Had a good time. Grace, you killed it with that install. It was just perfect. So if you're interested in this intake or any parts for your Raptor or any vehicle, go ahead and hit up vividracing.com and tell us what you think about this video. Leave a comment, make sure you like and subscribe, and we will see you guys at the next one.